the Virginia Horse Industry Board, Southwest Virginia Agricultural Association, and the Virginia Christmas Tree Growers Association are proud sponsors of Virginia farming.
This program's brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Large or small, Virginia farmers work year-round to help put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Brought to you by Farm Family, Life, Auto, Business, Farm. Steve Morse, fruit grower, distiller, entrepreneur. Another personal story on farmfamilypeople.com. Farm Family, the people you know. Hi everybody, welcome to Virginia Farming. I'm Amy Rocher. Craft breweries are being tapped all over the Commonwealth. Now you might not consider beer an agricultural product, but it really is. After all, barley and hops are the two main ingredients. Today we'll take a look not only at craft breweries, but at Virginia-grown hops and how they're used in today's ales. And finally, we'll join Mark Viette in the garden for tips on soil preparation. That's coming up on this edition of Virginia Farming. Blue Mountain Brewery in Nelson County was the first countryside brewery in Virginia. Since their opening, many other breweries have followed suit by brewing unique beers from locally grown hops. Patrick Dunn has the story.
Once upon a time, Virginia was the hops capital of America. Of course, that was when the Virginia Territory's western border was the Mississippi River. But that tradition is sprouting up again as craft and farm breweries like Nelson County's Blue Mountain Brewery are growing in record numbers.
Virginia is really special. It is. I mean, I don't know if they've done the statistics, but we've got to be one of the fastest growing states. I heard something like 70 breweries in planning. It's just a neat time. I mean, it's the golden age of craft beer.
Many of these new breweries are taking a note from the history books and growing their own hops and fresh ingredients to create exceptional beers and ales. Sean Thomas Pumphrey, owner of Licking Hole Creek Brewery in Goochland County, hopes to have his taps flowing by June.
We wanted to get into craft beer because A, we love craft beer, and then B, we wanted to do something really unique when we did it. And there are very few farm breweries in the whole entire country.
Most people don't usually think of beer as an agricultural product, but you'd be surprised at how important farm products are to a brew master.
We started with about 1.75 acres and about a half acre of hop fields, and gave our people I think a little bit of a tangible experience about what beer is. I think it's important more than anything just maybe to share with people that beer is agricultural, and it's the great industrialized beverage. It's been industrialized since the late 1700s, and the old joke is it takes a community to make beer, whereas it takes a farmer to make wine. I mean, it really is a community effort. Growing barley, growing hops, two very different things. The malt serves a separate trade. It takes a lot of people to make beer, but at its base it is agriculture.
Licking Hole Creek's brewmaster David Accio is also planning on putting the brewery's farmland to good use.
We're going to do a saison that's going to stand on its own. It's a Belgian-style kind of farm brew, and so it'll be around all year, but then we're going to be adding berries and fruits and things to it as well, so it's going to stand up to all of that. And obviously hops. There's going to be a lot of hops.
And even after all the canning and bottling is complete at Blue Mountain, nothing is wasted. Most of the key ingredients used in the brewing process, known as mash, are sold to local beef producers as a high-protein feed for their cattle.
We had two different farmers, just because of the distance between our two breweries at opposite ends of the county. And the farmer here feeds 133 head of cattle almost solely off of our spent grain here, which is just a great quality feed.
More than 45 craft breweries call Virginia home, and the industry continues to grow each year. There are also nearly a dozen microbrewery restaurant establishments known as brew pubs around the Commonwealth that specialize in local brews and locally produced foods. Reporting in Nelson County, I'm Patrick Dunn.
Thanks, Patrick. Hops are what gives beer its distinctive flavor, and Blue Mountain uses locally grown hops. Now, one of their suppliers is Avalon Farms. This segment by James Overton and Alpha Vision Films takes a look at the hops harvest at Avalon Farms in Greenville.
mechanically harvested. Nobody would ever do it like this. Too labor intensive.
The advantages of local hops is it connects them with the local community and buying local and the short food chain. It also reconnects breweries with agriculture. The wineries are connected with agriculture, but breweries are also, they use barley, malt, and hops. And they need to reconnect with agriculture in their local communities, which is a very good marketing tool and a very good public relations tool, and it's also gives them a unique beer, a unique product.
It's happiness for the brewers, happiness for the customers, that one giant batch a year, Lord knows, do as much as you can. All the big guys, or not big guys, but what we call the big guys, Sierra Nevada, all those type of guys, have started growing their own hops to do a state version harvest of a wet hop beer so they can pick it off their own field and throw it in a kettle and just get this very special beer. So local is everything with that.
Wet hops are green, fresh hops, still with all the moisture from the field. They're picked that day. They are delivered immediately to the brewer and brewed with immediately, so that is entirely unique. It's not possible unless you have hops available locally. So that is another great marketing tool for the grower and the brewer, to have these wet hop brews available to his customers.
You got to spend a lot of time working on the soil. You have to spend a lot of time getting your infrastructure right. Hops have to grow on a trellis, and the trellises are tall, and that's a big factor to consider. If you're not inclined to plant poles and climb up on poles and string wires, you're going to be in trouble. So you got to plan ahead.
Absolutely, everything's front loaded. You got to do it right to begin with, or you're left with nothing.
It is a significant investment of about $15,000 an acre at this time. So you want to plan carefully and know what your expenses are going to be and know where your market's going to be. I know that Taylor, when he built Blue Mountain Brewery, requested a building permit from Nelson County and a rezoning, because this is an agricultural zone, and this tied him into agriculture, growing hops, which was significant. Plus, it also provides him a local source for hops that will be entirely unique to his brewery. It also is a factor for his guests and customers here to come and see the hops and be aware that they are drinking the beer that's produced from the hops in the field here.
It takes a lot of hops to brew beer, far more than we can grow in Virginia. So in Virginia now we're still building capacity, and we've got years of capacity building before we can even supply all the hops that Taylor would need here at Blue Mountain Brewing Company. But we'll get there. And we're going to grow this industry pretty aggressively over the next 3 to 5 years.
All right. Ready?
In the past, people tried to, import wet hops and FedEx them, and it didn't work. They couldn't get them quick enough. And so what Stan and David have discovered, and the rest of us that help them pick, is that you pick locally, you get the hops picked in the morning and the afternoon, deliver them that evening to the brewing company, or even to that day to the brewing company. And even if you FedEx them from Seattle, you just can't get them out here fast enough. So wet hopping is really it's a local aspect.
You can try to get them elsewhere, but here's the best feedback I ever got. The UPS guy delivered this giant crate of hops to me, and they have holes in the side because when you pack them tight in, they can actually spontaneously combust. And you never know what's going to happen. So they poke these holes in it so that the hops can breathe, because they come right off the hop binds. And the UPS guy delivers it to me, and he says, this thing weighed about 5 times more when I picked it up this morning. And as a brewer, that instantly meant to me, I lost 5 times the potency of these hops as the moisture dried, because that's what you're trying to avoid in a fresh hop beer, is the drying, because you dry hops to use them, it's awesome. We're going to do it 99% of the time, but a fresh hop beer is all about literally off the vine, boop, into the kettle. And so very clear to us that going, 15 minutes down the road or from our own fields is just this unbelievable, authentic, terroir of the land.
Hey, would you rather ship them in from out of state, or would you rather get them right here from your neighbors? I mean, it's kind of buy local, buy now. We're here. You're supporting your local economy, getting a great product.
That's awesome.
We're like a mountain, behind a mountain of hops here. I decided this was about one of the prettiest ones.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice. For now, I'm huge hops on it.
Josh, you're executive committee on the co-op, right? Yeah, I told you next
That's awesome.
Yeah.
This is the best vine we've seen so far.
All right, when you break these up, you'll see inside kind of golden dust. See the dust in there along the spine of those? That's the lupulin. That's actually what gives the hops its bitterness and a lot of its aromatic qualities, aromatic components. So if you were to take that and smell that right there, that would smell very, very floral, very citrusy. And that's what it imparts to the beer. It's about as fresh as they get, isn't it? Doesn't get any better than that.
Sacred Heart Tattoos, Atlanta, Georgia.
Big old payday out of it.
Where'd the pipe come from?
Oh, yeah. If we didn't grow hops here locally, there would be no wet hop beers available here. The perishability of hops doesn't allow that for East Coast brewers. When you're planting a hops field, you have to think about your market first and where you're going to sell your hops. And number two, you have to think about soil, environment, microclimates. Well, the development of all our local breweries means that we get choices that we would not have otherwise. We get a local product that is unique, that is flavorful, that is shared by our local community, that is wonderful. And they're wonderful choices to have.
Good show, Eric.
All right.
Congratulations, man. First harvest,
Nice retired.
He's used to hard labor.
Yeah.
So what kind of grain does that? It doesn't. It just sits there. It does not. Nothing rinses out of it. But this is, a whole different kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Whoever did that cutting knew what they were doing. Woo!
That's it.
Did you see that? Oh yeah, baby. Quality control.
Glass.
Great interest to a lot of people.
The closing credits are going on.
The other thing is, I'm really trying to figure with a whole bunch of I played with them all to begin with.
Documentary, actually take it and turn it into something.
We'll see it from start to finish.
Do a brewing process until people are actually sitting around drinking the beer.
It's within 24 hours. It's basically 12 hours. It's like you pick them, you ship them, they start brewing.
Yeah.
See y'all next year.
Yep. Bye.
Adios.
And so we thought, couldn't we do this? Couldn't we create a brewery where you're not in an urban environment, but where you're in a rural environment, and you get to come out and look at the mountains, and your kids are running around the lawn, and you can hike nearby, but you get to drink beer at the end of the day. And that was our whole drive. We wanted to create a beer destination in Virginia wine country. One of the things we immediately realized is one of the romances of Virginia wine country is the real association for the customers, the touch and feel with the product right there. What is it? The grapevines. You get to look at them. You get to sit there and just see part of what you're experiencing. So we thought, why don't we grow some hops out here?
This is a cool stand. Yeah, baby. It's good.
And so people can now come to our brewery, sit out here, play in the lawn, look at the mountains, drink a beer, look at the hops, and know that we're really using those hops year-round in our Full Nelson. Kind of like the varietal is for wine, a single varietal grape. We do with a single variety our homegrown Cascade hops in one beer. Then we save and dry the rest and use them year-round in our Full Nelson. And what we did was we got that connection for the people that vineyards have. That I'm seeing what I'm drinking kind of thing. It often takes a whole community to make beer, and I try to think of that as a positive thing, not a negative. What I mean by that is you can grow grapes and you can, harvest and juice them and ferment them and make wine. Can't really do that with beer. We need someone to not only grow barley, we need them to malt barley. Both those are specialties. We need a farmer, we need a maltster who's every bit a talented tradesman as a master brewer. And then we need a farmer to grow the hops and to prepare the hops, and then a brewer brings together these ingredients. So my dream for Virginia would be that we can do all of that here. Hops, 100%, we can grow them here. We grow them great. From somebody who's grown up, really getting to know hops from the Pacific Northwest, Hallertau Valley in Germany, England, Saaz hops in the old Czech Republic. I mean, it's amazing that, oh my God, I can actually grow these, and with a lot of Stan's help, and they just taste amazing.
Local hops.
Local hops.
Well, whether you're growing hops or hostas, you need the proper soil. Soil preparation can lead to healthy plants, and it helps conserve moisture. With tips, here's Mark Viette.
When plants die in your garden, what do we all do? We blame ourselves. I have to tell you, it's not your fault if plants die in the garden. What I find is many of us are dealing with imperfect soils, heavy wet soils, clay soils, or soils that have been compacted by bulldozers, heavy equipment, to the density that's harder or thicker than concrete. And so our plants don't thrive. But there are a lot of things that we can do to improve our soils. If you have poor soils, within 3 years, you can have a perfect environment that will help your plants grow year after year after year. Be it trees, shrubs, flower gardens, annuals, or vegetables. There are a couple easy steps that you can do right in the beginning that'll ensure your success. I always like to have a nice, loose soil. So let's look at some of these things that will give you that environment for your plants. Have you ever heard a $10 hole for a $2 plant? Well, there's a reason for that saying. It's really important that you prepare the soil even before you think about what kind of plant goes where, because that's the most important factor. A lot of us are dealt with a given soil like this, which, you know, these make great mud balls. You know, they don't crumble. They make nice round balls, and if you actually threw this against a block building, it would stick to it. That really isn't healthy for a plant environment. What you really want is soil that crumbles, and when you work the soil, it's important that it's not too wet, because once you do work your soils and you compact them, it could take 5 years or longer for air and water to penetrate that hard pan that you created within your garden. We have taken all the soils around the home that were like this, heavy clay, in some areas very red clay. You really had a hard time digging, and we have made those soils now look like this. And there's a couple things that you can do. You can add compost, you can add organic fertilizers, and you're also going to have to get a workout. Watch this. Are you ready for your workout? It's this simple. Just take organic matter, and if you have your own compost pile, that's great. I suggest about 2 inches of organic matter over an area that you're planting. In addition to that, use an organic fertilizer like Plantone. Always read the label directions. I also like to use a mineralizer like green sand. And the term double dig is you're going to dig it twice. By putting it on first, I'm going to mix it in by doing this. And you just work the soil. Two times. Then you're going to go deeper. And you can see some of that clay coming up. And I'm digging down to about 10 to 12 inches deep, probably deeper than a rototiller. Once you're done, you're ready to plant and enjoy your flowers, trees, shrubs, and vegetables for many years to come. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
That does it for our show. Thanks for watching and have a great week. I'm Amy Rocher for Virginia Farming.
This program's brought to you by the Virginia Farm Bureau. From apples to zucchini, Virginia farmers work hard to put food on your table. And Farm Bureau works year-round to help farmers and all Virginians. Farming, it's all good. To learn more, go to vafarmbureau.org.
Brought to you by Farm Family. Life, auto, business, farm. Nancy Asher, stable owner, visionary, agent of change. Another personal story on farmfamilypeople.com. Farm Family, the people you know.